Yo guys, welcome back, it is Ripe again. Today we got something a little bit different. Over the next couple of days or weeks, depending on whether you like this format or not, we are gonna check out some of the top rated AskReddit threads of all time. So as usual, sit back, relax and listen to some of the best stuff AskReddit has to offer. Throwaway time. What's your secret that could literally ruin your life if it came out? I once helped out my female friend's family by taking care of their cat for a week. Every day for a week, I would go over there and snoop around their house. I found my friend's diary and proceeded to read the entire thing. I used this information to get her to like me, and she's currently my wife. Well, props to you, I guess, but that is kinda creepy if you ask me. But then again, let's be honest, if one of us could do this to find his or her dream wife, dream husband, whatever, would we do it or would we not do it? I think almost everybody would do this. Correct me if I'm wrong. I once took a dump in the bathtub and then realizing what a horrible mistake I had made, I flung poo into a hole in the wall. My parents renovated and patched up the hole, so now there is a 15-year-old turd in between the bathroom and the kitchen wall of my childhood home. Not even using a throwaway because I have no shame. The telltale poop. Damn, this comment was just the icing on the cake. Well, it is more of a secret to my friends that I have made recently. Some background first. I don't like being touched or hugged, and I'm incredibly uncomfortable with intimacy in general. When I was in 8th grade, a bunch of girls in my class convinced me that they had a friend who fancied me. They said she had seen me somewhere and thought I was cute. They faked an MSN account and they talked to me every night for a few months, invited me out to the movies and obviously didn't show up. They then revealed to the whole grade that I had been tricked into having an imaginary girlfriend. I was mocked viciously by everyone in the grade, and ever since then I cannot really trust women. I also cannot believe that a girl may have feelings for me. Even when they explicitly tell me that they have feelings for me, I cannot help but feel like they are trying to trick me. It has caused a lot of insecurity and I cannot get attached to people easily. I am terribly afraid to text or to message people first because I'm convinced I would be annoying them. What's worse is that when I think about it, I know it probably isn't true, but I cannot help but feel like it is. Even though it was grade 8, it was right around the time when attraction to women was just starting to get real, so to be hurt at a time as delicate as that has really done some damage. The secret, of course, is that I had been dumb enough to be tricked. As you might expect, the whole thing has left me afraid of being vulnerable. To have this found out by my newer friends, as in university friends, would put me in a really uncomfortable place. I probably would not be able to be their friend anymore. Edit. I know people still read this thread, so I felt I should come back and that I owed people an update. I've since met such a fantastic woman, someone who makes me feel incredibly happy. I love her very much and she loves me, and she's helping me get used to the idea of feeling valuable and trusting people, or at least one person. She's the best thing that has happened to me in a long time and maybe ever. I'm glad I got to come back to this post and finish it off with a happy ending. To all the people in the comments who were kind to me or who shared their own similar experiences, you are always valuable and someone will notice. Oh, I'm so glad for that happy ending. I was feeling like this is a super sad story, but in the end, everything can have a good outcome. But yeah, to people who do stuff like this with the imaginary girlfriend thing, I would just say F you, seriously. This is really not cool. And as you can see, it has impacted this poor guy for years to come, even though it happened in high school. My cousin died when we were both 17. There was a reception at his house just after the funeral. I went into his room and stole all the money that was there, took some other valuables that his parents wouldn't realize were gone as well. No one knows that I did it, they just assumed he didn't have any money in his room and only loose change. I don't regret it, but I will never admit I did it. I run a cake business, so I charge people hundreds of dollars for wedding cakes. Every last one is made using Pillsbury cake mix I buy for $1 a box at Walmart. I suck at baking. Every time I ever tried to make a cake from scratch, it sucked. But baking is like my whole deal. My friends all call me the cake girl. It's like my whole life is a lie. People compliment my cakes all the time, telling me how delicious they are. telling me it's so much better than box mixed cake. Telling me they could never ever bake a cake so delicious. Well, guess what? For $1, they too can make a cake just as delicious. You just have to add some oil, eggs and some water. In my defense, I love cake decorating. I make all of the frostings and fondant from scratch. I just hate baking effing cakes. I base my prices mostly on the decoration of my cakes and not the cake itself, if that makes any sense. Still, no one knows about this except my husband. Even my best friends think I slave over the oven, mixing and baking these damn cakes. I have been doing this for years. If anybody would know about this, my reputation would be in the toilet for sure. I keep telling myself I have to learn how to make the damn cakes without the box mixes, but I never do it. I feel like such a sham sometimes. Update from 2015. I actually no longer make cakes. I got a divorce and moved into a much smaller home. At that point, I had no place to decorate cakes. I was also really burnt out, and it's an incredibly hard art. It's very time consuming and requires a lot of tools and space. About a year later, I moved in with my now boyfriend and we have a pretty big kitchen. I wanted to sell my equipment and tools and the billion giant cake pans I have, but he convinced me not to. He said I should keep it on the back burner for a while and see if I want to do it again later. He didn't know me when I was a decorator, but he saw the photos and told me it would be a shame if I never did it again. I want to share some photos, but it would be so easy to trace them back to my old cake blog. Maybe I can find 1 or 2 photos that were never posted here. Anyway, I cannot even eat cake anymore. I make a quick cake now and then, but trust me when I say gluten-free cake mixes are better than anything I could make from scratch. Well guys, you know the deal? The cake is a lie. 2.5 years ago, I was in dire financial straits, so I sold my home to keep my struggling business afloat. I neglected to tell the owners that they have an 800 square feet bunker on the property that I built about 7 years ago. The bunker that I have called home since I sold it. The entrance to it is well hidden, but I still come and go very early or very late in the day. I'm a single man who keeps to himself, and I'm now in a situation where I could move somewhere else, but I love this hidden paradise so much. You know, I can definitely feel it, like a place where you can go to when no one would bother you, where there's no internet, no social media. That doesn't sound like a bad place. So I'm about 16, right? And I always go down to this bank to take money out. I only had a savings account, so I didn't have an ATM card at the time. There was always this cute chick working there, and she would always smile and greet me, and I would always try to go to her line. As she was a bank teller, I only saw her sitting down. This is important later on. One day, I just work up all the confidence I can, and I ask her out as I'm taking out some money. She said yes, so we set up a time around the weekend for me to come over and pick her up. She gives me her number, I get her address, and I skip home, not literally, but you know, as happy as can be. So it's the weekend and I drive up to her house in my little beat up Honda. I knock on her door and her dad answers. A split second of, oh shit, comes over me, but he just gives me this heartwarming smile and invites me into his house. I instantly feel at ease and we go sit down in the living room. Her dad is super happy, like, I'm so glad you're taking my daughter out and I really appreciate it and all this craziness. So I'm starting to think to myself, oh damn, what have I gotten myself into? So her dad reaches into his pocket and pulls out a set of car keys. He says, I want you to take my car. I said, no, that's okay, I have my own car. He's all like, no, practically forcing the keys into my hand. Still keeping his big smile on his face, no sooner does he give me the keys than I do hear from the stairs, psst. No shit, she's in a wheelchair. A split second of shallow human being comes over me, but I think about it and say to myself, I can do this. She's awesome and has a great personality. F it. We go outside and I realize why her dad wanted me to take his truck. It was all rigged up with the belts and harnesses and the door came all the way out for the wheelchair. So I took his truck and we head to the movies. Best part, the handicap spot. So we are in the theater, and no sooner does the movie start than she starts putting her hands on my junk. She's a freak, and that's totally cool with me. We start making out almost during the whole movie. My parents are out of town that weekend, so I ask her if she wants to come back to my place. She says yes, so we get back in her dad's truck and we are on the way to my house. We arrive at my house. I have stairs, so I have to carry her inside. Thankfully, my room is on the first floor, so I get her inside, throw her on the bed, and we start going at it. I've got her in a missionary position. It's pitch black in my house, and I am pounding the F out of her, when all of a sudden I hear a pop. Sure as shit, her leg fucking comes off. She's got a damn fake leg. How did I miss this shit? Keep going, she screams as I pull her leg and throw that shit across the room. So I'm effing her, and sure as shit, I hear another pop. So I pull her leg just like I'm pulling yours. Oh damn, for a second he had me there. I almost believed that story, but still I'm just gonna keep this because this is a super funny one. There is an exhaust port on one side of the station I work at, about 2 meters wide. I was supposed to seal it up during construction, but I never got around to do it. If someone were to fire a couple of torpedoes down there and they reached the station's core, well, I would have a lot more than my job to worry about, that's for sure. First time I'm telling anyone this. This thread is so deep that probably no one will see it. Well, no one except Ripe, who's gonna use it for his YouTube channel. What a douchebag, right? So anyway, I am basically living a lie. I told my entire family that I was able to transfer out of community college into a university, but I never finished up the requirements. So since I live at home, every day instead of going to school, I go to the local library and BS. My lies are so extensive, I even go to the campus and meet my girlfriend for lunch sometimes. I have made fake transcripts to show my family, and to make it look like I'm actually studying, I go to MIT OpenCourseware to look up facts that I learned in class that day. I have become a remarkable liar, and I hope to be transferring in the fall, and then I look forward to living a normal life. Coming clean is not an option at this point. And there you can see what peer pressure, or in general the pressure of your family, can do to you. If you're not ready to go to university or to college, whatever, then either don't do it or just wait until you're ready. This isn't necessarily something that could ruin my life, but it could ruin many others. I haven't told anyone before. My father recently went to prison for white-collar crime that he pled guilty to. He didn't commit this crime, but the alternative was fighting a highly sensationalized, media-obsessed scapegoat case and potentially getting 20+ years. While he was in prison, I read his little blue book, which I knew contained all the missteps of everyone he's worked with. He has always been an extremely scrupulous man, so these offenses were something he took seriously enough to note. I have information on countless state employees, incredibly prominent and wealthy community members, numerous elected city and state officials, as well as police officers. This information could ruin lives and start political controversy. My father is an incredible man and is not vengeful whatsoever. He will never use any of this info against these people, despite the fact that most completely turned on him and stayed uninvolved at all costs or started pointing fingers. When I picture my aging father sitting in a maximum security jail cell, sleeping on a metal sheet without a mattress, he wasn't given one until his 5th night, I am filled with rage for these people who could have stood up for their friend and prevented this, while he still continues to be loyal. I still haven't decided which campaigns, if any, I am going to ruin in the upcoming elections. Well guys, there you have it. That's where the Clinton emails came from. Alright guys, now for the last story. If you have watched this far, I would really appreciate if you could subscribe to my channel, like the video, and maybe even leave a comment. I know it's a lot to ask, but this would really help grow my channel, and I really appreciate your support. Buried comment, but here it goes. Not life ruining, but makes me feel like shit every time I think about it. As I've told Reddit before, I have a blind brother. When we were young, I used to get so frustrated at all the extra attention he received and how I had to be more responsible with my sibling than my peers. So when my brother and I would go to play, or go to the store, or just generally go anywhere without adults, I would abandon him somewhere unfamiliar to him, and then I would stand off quietly and watch the anxiety set in as he tried to figure out where he was and what was going on. Also, I was really intelligent as a child, and I knew that that was my ticket to attention. When I would help my brother with his homework, I would teach him all the wrong answers so that I could continue being the smarter sibling. Today, my brother is my best friend. He goes to college and lives by himself. He has become one of the most intelligent men I have ever met. I'm trying to make it up to him now by being the best big sister ever, but I still feel so guilty at how I found him to be a burden when I was a kid. Damn, this is kind of depressing, but at least there is redemption at the end. Alright guys, that's it for today. Please let me know if you enjoyed r/AskReddit, because I feel like that r/entitled parents is still funny, but a lot of the stories kind of seem fake, and of course here some stuff might be fake as well, but in general I find AskReddit more enjoyable, but please tell me what you think about it in the comments. Until then, I hope you have a nice day and see you in the next video.